Now, inside the White House, there's still no debt deal and no doubt that time is running out as pressure ramps up in Washington and around the country. The Treasury Secretary is warning of the enormous risk if President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy can't find a compromise, that the U.S. is highly likely to run out of cash as little as 9 days from now. McCarthy says, though, there is still time.
We could still finish this by June 1st in a timeline. 97 days the president didn't want to meet. So, I mean, we're trying to condense everything in a short time frame. The House passed the bill and the Senate never passed one. So now it's more difficult. What else do you have to negotiate from a lot of different perspectives? But we can still finish in time.
I want to bring in NBC senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor and White House correspondent Monica Alba. So, Sahil, how optimistic or pessimistic are you hearing McCarthy's team is right now?
McCarthy is not sounding optimistic at all, Chris. He's not sounding confident in the direction of negotiations. He's not giving any assurances that they'll reach a deal in time. He had a lot to say yesterday about the meeting with the president after it happened. He insisted that talks were productive, but he also said that should not be confused with progress, trying to make that distinction, that they talked more about what they disagreed on than what they ultimately agreed on. Now, last night after that big meeting between the president and speaker, White House negotiators met again with the Speaker's office here on Capitol Hill. Then today, McCarthy met with his House Republican conference, and his chief negotiator, Congressman Garrett Graves, again sounded pessimistic about the way things are going. Let's play what Graves had to say.
I don't think things are going well until the White House understands that they have a spending crisis, they have a tax crisis, and they have a debt crisis. We're not going to be able to make this deal. We're not going to be able to move forward.
Now, Graves mentioned spending, Chris. This is the crux of the problem. House Republicans are demanding steep spending cuts. McCarthy yesterday made clear that any tax revenues are off the table. He made clear yesterday that any cuts to military spending are off the table. He had previously agreed that Social Security and Medicare cuts should be off the table. That doesn't leave a whole lot of the budget. That leaves one slice, non-defense discretionary spending, which is about 15 or 16%. Includes things like air travel, Pell Grants, education, law enforcement. It's important to Democrats, and they don't want to simply hack away at that portion of the budget without something in return that protects their priorities. That's where things are at the moment. They have to agree on a spending level for the next budget, or this negotiation isn't going anywhere. 9 days to go until the Treasury's deadline to act or risk a first ever catastrophic default. Still no agreement, still no clear path to an agreement, Chris.